Well, it's the end of 2017, everybody, and it's time to count down the hottest hits of the League of Legends Esports year. I'm joined for the 7th edition of Hotline League by Mark Zimmerman, my co host, as well as perennial guest. We've had him on the show maybe more than anybody else this year throughout the long standing episodes of the series, throughout the 12 months of this year. So
he blurs the line between guest and host.
We brought him back for the special holiday edition here at the end of the year. The final episode of the year got Kelby May on. Kelby.
Glad to be back.
Yeah. Well, let's start off with Mark. Mark, how you been since the last episode?
If you guys want to idea into my mental state, I downloaded BlueStacks, and I have been 24-hour straight grinding Lineage 2 Revolution in the background. Even right now, it's running.
What is BlueStacks?
It's a Android emulator.
Okay.
So I've just been
Isn't
having
Lineage 2 like an actual... Oh, it's an Android emulator, so you're running the mobile game
I'm
on your
Lineage 2
computer.
Revolution, yeah.
Is that against the terms of service?
What? No. Yeah, it's a shitty mobile game, Travis, and I'm playing it nonstop. That's my mental state right now.
Whenever
okay?
I go on Facebook, Pokimane and all those other people, they're all...
Hashtag ad. Hashtag ad.
They're all pumping it, so I assume it's not a shitty mobile game.
I mean, any amount of money will make you say that a piece of shit is not a piece of shit.
All right, well...
You can give me a piece of poop and $1 million, and I will tell you that it is not poop.
Except for...
My integrity is not for sale, Mark.
Except for any of our potential future sponsors on the show.
Well, of course, those are going to be the greatest products in their respective markets.
It's
Yeah.
oh, boy. All right, next up we got Kelby. Kelby, how you been?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
I, like Mark, have been playing one video game a lot, but that video game is Total War Warhammer 2.
Nice.
I've just been playing so much of that game.
You went to the Twitch holiday party last night?
Yes, last night, yeah.
How was that?
It was kind of interesting. Well, first off, the spread at the Twitch holiday party was literally insane. Maybe the best eats I've ever had at like a company event for anything.
Better
it's
than
crazy.
the eats at the CLG company events?
Oh, yeah. We used to get some really nice spicy chicken and rice bowls that we would do in between scrims that I would run out and grab at the Diamond Bar House. That was a classic staple. But no, it was the spread was pretty insane, and also like the size of the company is just like crazy. The first holiday party I went to 2 years ago, like I knew everybody there, and walking around at this one, I was like, I know literally nobody at this company now.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, I had a good time this past weekend. I went to the CLG winter party thing. There's a white elephant there. It got screwed.
Yeah, how was that white elephant?
It was terrible, Kelby. All right?
Wait, why?
I was Nick Allen's +1 because his wife doesn't want to be seen with him in public. And there was 2 hours before the CLG thing, I'm like, Nick, you want me to bring anything? Like, should I bring a bottle of wine? Like a snack or something? He's like, it's a white elephant. Bring a $10 to $15 gift. I'm like, okay, well, guess I got 2 hours to both get to the CLG house and get a white elephant gift. So I went to Fry's Electronics, and I go, whoa.
Well, all right.
Mark.
The channel just got fucking banned.
Mark.
All right. The major conflict of interest right here. Do I
exactly.
not report
Please.
this to the partnership
Keep your shirt
team?
on, please.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
I
So
thought that was allowed now for guys.
Yeah.
I thought I could just be straight up shirtless if I wanted.
I don't
Maybe
think
if
so.
we have this channel listed as IRL, but
Twitch chat spamming banned right now, so anyway, so I get a RC helicopter for $20 because I can't find anything good for 10 to 15. I go through the white elephant, and at the end of the white elephant, I end up with a book entitled "How to Talk So Your Husband Will Listen." I look at the back of the book. The price tag is $6. So got fucked there. Okay,
but at least
10
you avoided
10
the
to 15.
protein bars that somebody just grabbed out of the cupboard.
Yeah, Nick Allen, his gift was Laura bars, just a box of those because he just grabbed them. So the next day, I'm like, don't worry, I'm doing a white elephant. Invited a bunch of people. Invited Kelby. He never RSVP'd. Mark was there.
Yeah,
and
great.
our price tag was $30 to keep it interesting, keep the fight going, made possible by my Twitch subs. Thank you so much. And I brought a Amazon Kindle Fire because you can get those now for $30. At the end of it, I ended up with a copy of NBA 2K18
that sounds great.
That Nick Allen had brought and had probably gotten for free. That's a terrible game. I'm returning it to Amazon. So,
I brought a $20 Dream Tent and I left with nothing. So you know what? You did better than me.
How did you leave with nothing?
Because he brought a $20 Dream Tent. He deserved nothing. Next year, I talked to Sloan.
That doesn't make any sense.
I talked to Sloan.
I gave my gift away. I didn't want it.
I've talked to Sloan, who helps co-run the White Elephant with me. Nick and Mark are invited to the Christmas party next year, but not the White Elephant portion. They're banned from the White Elephant portion. So,
wait, I may as well have not even come. How am I banned?
The point is,
I brought a gift. It was funny and it made the night better. And at the end of the night, no one had to take it home.
What is the Dream
It's still
tent?
in my home. It's for
children.
Like,
no one got that.
If you have a twin bed, you can. It's like a little tent thing that wraps around the top, so you can be in a mystery tent. It's not been. It was a. It's been a tough
it was the single best gift of the night. People had fun with it. They laughed. No one fucking laughed for your Kindle Fire. People just got in fights over it. Everyone wanted it.
People actually wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like your gift was stupid, Travis, that everybody wanted it.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We've done enough carousing at the start of the show. For those of you that do not know what this episode is, there hasn't been much happening in League of Legends Esports for the past week because it is the end of the year. This is also the last episode of the year. And so Mark and I were talking earlier. We decided to make this show all about kind of reflecting on 2017 and going over, some of the best moments and some of the biggest stories and sort of having a conversation about all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk a little bit about that over the next 10 or so minutes and kind of go over Kelby, mine, and Mark's most interesting or big stories for this year. But then we want to dive straight into calls and hear from you. What were some of the biggest moments for you? Things that will stand out for you? Things that you were excited about, something that cheered you on, whatever you were excited about for 2017 you want to talk about, come on the show. We'll hear from you. Information in the Twitch chat. By the way, for those watching on the VOD, we get this question a lot. We try to film this on Mondays at 8 Pacific time, and there's also a podcast version of this available now on iTunes and Google, a couple other places as well if you look around. So if you want to listen to an audio version of this, you can do that there. Be sure to subscribe. And then if you can, give us a rating or a review, because that makes it so that people can actually find the podcast, because if it's just some random podcast nobody listens to with no reviews, unsurprisingly, it's hard to find on those different systems. So thanks so much for doing all that. And let's get into it.
So if people don't remember how this works, by the way, I posted the Discord link in chat. Please join the Discord, join the general voice chat, and then post your questions in the general text chat. And remember, try and keep these things exciting. What did you, like Travis said, love about this year, or what did you hate? What was your favorite memory? What scarred you for life? Yeah. Who is your most hated player of the year? Who is your most hated personality? Anything goes, really.
Big games, big moments, anything like that. We'll probably do in the beginning of 2018 a show that kind of is looking forward to what's coming in 2018, but any of the stuff that kind of went down this year. Mark, do you want to start us off? I know I've been talking for a little bit.
Yeah, I wanted to start off with an award about person that I was least excited to see return to the League of Legends kind of content scene, and it was Kelby. But here he is. He's back.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know that you could call it a return to the content scene. I don't feel like I was ever a content producer.
Well, I mean, you were in it enough. I guess.
You used to write blogs for iBuyPower.
I feel like. Whoa! All right. First off, wait. I did write one blog. I forgot. I thought you were talking about something else, Travis. Never mind. Anyways,
what did you think I was talking about, Kelby?
Nope, we're good. What was it? You know what I think my greatest miss point was when I was running a team was not doing a series like Noah's Notes. Yeah. He's just a fucking genius, dude. I should have done Noah's Notes.
Kelby's Conf?
Kelby's comments?
Conf, like Mein Kampf.
Yeah. No, we're not going to do the conf thing. I think we'd skip on the conf thing.
Okay.
Travis, you know what conf means?
Struggle.
Okay. Kelby's struggle.
Yeah. That's the story. That's his.
It was a struggle at times.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty fitting.
Yeah. Avoided relegations yet again. All right.
Yeah. Avoided bankruptcy yet again. The point is... All right, Mark, did you have a real one, or did you want to...
Oh, yes. Sorry. So I actually started with my favorite moment, and I think I would have to go with the Worlds group stage, just like how fucking crazy it was. And not just like, oh my god, TSM bombed out, but like Fnatic making that rally, C9 barely clutching it out. That was crazy. The like huge comeback by SKT. I know this is kind of broad for like a single thing.
You're picking a month-long event as your highlight.
I said the group stage. It was
Okay.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do 2 weeks, Travis.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you want me to be more specific, the greatest moment was the pigeon.
The pigeon?
Yeah, from Spring Finals, the pigeon.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the pigeon?
Yeah, Kelby wasn't paying attention to League of Legends at that time. So and we should kind of talk a little bit about these instead of just sort of bullet pointing them. But so Kelby,
Sure.
for you didn't know, at Spring Finals in Vancouver, there was a pigeon that got stuck in the arena. And so it was just flying in circles over everyone's head in front of the screen. Because, it's like theater in the round.
Yeah.
And so the
It would like
pigeons
land on stage.
It would land on stage. There were security guards sneaking up in front of the whole audience trying to get the pigeon in like a bag or something. And so no one at this point in time in the audience is watching it. And of course the casters are sitting there casting and they're like, well, he's just CSing, but apparently the crowd is really excited about the CSing.
They don't want to comment about the pigeon?
Yeah, they didn't want to comment about the pigeon. Well, because they didn't know. The casters are just talking.
Oh, okay.
And they don't see this on
eventually.
screen.
Yeah.
And so
Between
eventually
games, they started shooting it too. Like they would show the pigeon during pick ban. Yeah.
the pigeon would be
That's
sitting there in front of pick ban, and it was nice because instead of I think Riot realized they couldn't stop the pigeon from existing, so they just had to kind of embrace it as part of the broadcast, even though the crowd was. Same thing happened in Spring Finals the year before in Vegas when people brought a beach ball, and they were doing the beach ball thing.
Oh
in
god,
the
I love stuff like that. To be honest.
Yeah. I like it too. It gets the crowd hype, and sometimes if you have a shitty game or whatever, it's fine. So, Pigeon was a good one. You could also talk about, if you're talking about finals events, Mark Zimmerman singing Silver Scrapes live on stage. Whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who that was a highlight for. So it wasn't me. I don't think it was anyone listening.
I think it was a highlight for esports. Just the industry, when we were able to secure that kind of live performance, was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess when you have to deal with the Chrissy Costanzas of the world, it's nice to get a real artiste up there sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Kelby, do you have a highlight for this year?
Yeah. So as you kind of touched on earlier, that since I've kind of moved on from running League of Legends teams, I don't watch League of Legends as much as I do anymore. I think I would definitely fall into more of the casual fan category, just watching, like important matches and finals and stuff like that. Although I didn't know the pigeon story, but I will say actually that Worlds this year really drew me in, and I watched a lot of Worlds. In particular, like I stayed up and watched the entire Misfits and SKT series, and I thought that series was so good, maybe the best. And like I said, I haven't watched as much League of Legends as I used to,
Sure.
But I think in part, honestly, I feel like League is, in my personal opinion, not as exciting to watch from a meta standpoint as it was in some of the earlier seasons. But the Misfits SKT series was like such a great series to watch. And I felt like for actually almost the majority of that series, Misfits was like playing like the better team. And I was like, holy shit, are we going to see a European team, like 3-1 or 3-2 SKT? It was like Faker, and it was just so insane. It was such a great series. I think I stayed up to that had to have been 5 my time on was it a work night? I think on a work night.
It was on like a Wednesday or something.
Yeah. I stayed up till 5 my time watching that series because it was so good. It was
because it was are they going to do it like that? I think that was so much of what the quarterfinals was just like, are they going to do it? Like C9 had a pretty good run. There was just a lot of good moments.
Yeah.
In quarterfinals, but Mark still picks group stage instead.
Yeah, not like they didn't actually do it, you know. And maybe it's unfair, but I feel like a large importance of it is like what actually happened, because no one's gonna remember in 2 years. Like, remember when Misfits was close? They're probably not gonna remember that much.
Yeah.
But I feel like remembering Fnatic being like nearly mathematically eliminated and then like coming back and making it was like crazy to me.
Yeah, that was pretty hype.
Yeah.
The
The Uzi the Uzi and SKT series was great too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of good. I think the quarterfinals this year were definitely the best quarterfinals ever. Because usually that's just like some second seed gets smashed by a Korean team, but the Korean didn't smash them, and NA did fine versus China. So
yeah. I'll do another one, which was, I would say, the entire franchising situation, because a lot of people don't remember there were rumors about franchising coming, but at the start of this year we had no idea. We were just coming out of LCS Forever, which was like all the teams revolting and doing like this big open letter, except for Echo Fox, I guess, and we there was no idea. And then, I think in spring they announced it. I did an interview with Riot and Reginald and Noah Winston. And who would have thought then that Immortals wouldn't get in?
Oh, yeah.
I think this has been the most interesting offseason, not just because the rosters we've seen such a crazy, I mean, what was it, like 80 or 92% of the LCS, I think, turned over, or maybe it was like 80, 85, something around that. They're like
something stupidly high.
And while that is fascinating and a pretty direct result of the franchising, it's been fun for me to cover all the, like, interviewing people from Golden State Warriors and from the Cavs, and seeing like Nadeshot enters LCS. Like, I know we don't want to talk too much about what 2018 is going to hold, because that's going to be like the next episode, but just like the sheer amount of crazy stuff that happened in a relatively short time frame this year, and sort of setting us up for next year is pretty crazy. And franchising, I think that franchising this year might become like one of the biggest esports stories of the decade, as we're evaluating it in a couple of years.
For sure. I thought it was also really cool for us that it ran parallel to Overwatch franchising, so you can, like,
directly compare a little bit.
Yep, exactly.
What was your biggest surprise for this year?
That's so easy.
What is it?
FlyQuest getting into LCS, dude. The
Really?
magic. I want to be, like I said this before on one of our episodes, but I would give anything so bad to be like in the room during the FlyQuest pitch and like just hear the god that was like, hey man, I'm gonna convince you that we actually deserve to stay in this league instead of like Immortals or somebody else, and they bought it. Like, that guy is way better at sales than I am.
So it's a bigger surprise to you that FlyQuest made it in than Immortals went out? Like, if you had to bet money on Immortals going out or FlyQuest staying in, which one would you have bet more money on? I would have bet more money on Immortals staying in.
I would have bet more money on FlyQuest going out, probably.
Really?
Yeah, just because, like, so you don't know with due diligence. We don't have the same sort of business visibility that Riot will get when they go through a franchising process and looking behind the curtain of all these teams. And there could have been something with any one of these teams where it was just like, holy shit, these guys have been hiding this huge red flag for forever. And I'm not saying that was the case with Immortals, but, like, it could happen. And FlyQuest, I'm just like, I viewed them in the same light as Dignitas, where, like, you already got your backing, you already had, like, the group that was going to level things up, and you haven't done anything with that group yet, so how are you going to convince me that things are going to be different or better now? I don't know. That's just me. But I was hyped that they made it back in. Favorite team, FlyQuest for life, for sure.
What's your FlyQuest? It doesn't look like a FlyQuest sweater.
Oh, you're kind of breaking up, Mark.
Do they have merchandise that I can purchase?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anybody knows.
Is Mark going robot for you, Kelby?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Is Mark going robot for you?
He did for a sec, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Travis is going robot for me. Kelby's the only one who has been 100% fine.
Yeah, which is
That's
odd because
because-
he always goes robot on Discord when we're not streaming. So it's
Yeah,
kinda funny.
no, that's true. That's true.
I think we're fine now.
I would say biggest surprise for me was Faker getting to the finals and losing.
Yeah.
Because I can see like a
So
world where like there's better Korean teams or they have a tough time in LCK or whatever, like kind of what happened in season 4 when they didn't make it. But to have like, and obviously if you watch all of Worlds, having SKT lose in the finals was actually like not too surprising. It looked really weak.
Yeah.
But just that sentence itself, like Faker reached the finals of Worlds and got 3-0'd and his shit pushed in is like, whoa.
Yeah, crazy actually.
Yeah.
I
It's like
always
a-
said I could never bet against SKT until they actually lost a series at Worlds. It's just too hard to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think I said Samsung. Like everyone knows Samsung should win, but like no one thought that it would actually happen the way that
Right.
it did.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories in 2017 might be the Ballad of Dardoch. So Dardoch, we
Biggest
start the
surprise.
year with Noah announcing that he has signed Dardoch to, I think it was a 3-year contract,
Yes.
and saying, and I do an interview with
I
him.
forgot that.
And
Oh,
Noah's like, yeah, like we are super committed to Dardoch. Like we've talked to him. Like the Team Liquid infrastructure was just not a good place for him to exceed, and like we know, or to succeed, and we know that we have what it takes to really like help him sort of figure out how to deal with a lot of the challenges he faces, and like everything's gonna be great. And then like one split later, it's like Dardoch is off, and then Dardoch goes to CLG, and everybody's like, well,
If there's one team who can fix Dardoch.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it'll be great. He's gonna go to CLG. The CLG will have a lot of success. Actually, that's not what happened. Everybody was super like, CLG, why did you pick up
yeah.
Dardoch?
A lot of Reddit was actually like, man, this team, like if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be like Afro and the team of friendship, and like Tony's a great coach, he'll definitely respect him, yada yada
Yeah.
yada.
And
I
then
mean, there's a fair amount of that chatting.
didn't make it through the split, and then somehow ends up back on Team Liquid again.
Yeah.
So you go from like Immortals. This has all happened in like just over 6 months, I think, right? Like maybe 7 or 8 months. In the course of 7 or 8 months, he has a 3-year deal with Immortals where they're like committing super hard to growing him as a player, to CLG where he lasts less than a split, back to Team Liquid where he went before Immortals. Like, what a hilarious story, for
I
one
gotta
year
say
for a
one
player.
thing for Josh though. He must interview super well. You know.
Yeah.
Imagine
Well-
going into that. So you've been fired from your last 4 positions for the exact same thing.
Yeah.
How are things going to be different this time around? Let me tell you guys.
So-
I'm a changed man.
So one thing I'll say, and this is like, we've been joking a lot on this show. He is someone who is very, very smart, in how he talks about things. And like when he's not being super emotional over like a game or something like that, if he's not in that state, he's very convincing when he's like, no, I know what I did was wrong and this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I know a lot of people who interviewed him and like kind of had his back and like bought into his side of the story a lot more than they did maybe some of the other people's. And it's like, I wouldn't say he's like lying. I just think that he sounds very, very convincing when he talks about his previous
Mhm.
mistakes.
Yeah.
And that is how he probably ended up on Immortals and CLG, is because when you talk with him, he sounds like he's very like intelligent. You can see like you understand him, and then the emotions come back in and it's all out the window.
Joker
Yeah.
Can't Spell is in chat asking about 2018. 2018 is the next show. Joker Can't Spell. Talking about 2017 right now. Yeah, I think it's super interesting. Then you can kind of tag off of that, like CLG losing Xmithy for Dardoch, or trading Xmithy for Dardoch, and Xmithy then going to Worlds, right?
I will still defend the trade a little bit from CLG's perspective, just because they came off a really bad split, and in spring, Smithy was one of the worst junglers in the league. So like, was Dardoch necessarily the right move? I don't know, but that team did need a change, and Smithy was the clear one to change on the team.
Well, we've shared a couple of our ideas, and I'm sure we have some more that we can litter in throughout the conversation. But we definitely want to hear from you. So if you want to sort of give the spiel, Mark. Oh, I need to put on streamer mode so that I can. He just left, but if you want to come on the show, put a question in chat. If you are or not a question, maybe a statement, whatever you want to talk about, and Mark will be looking at it. There's also a subs chat, so if you're a sub, it might be a little bit easier for you to get picked up there if you put your message in there, because Mark checks both. And now we actually have our first guest on the show, Dex Factor 777. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kansas, and congratulations on getting the name right. You're one of the first few.
Thank you. Yes. Do you go on a lot of call-in shows with this name?
No, but streams get called out and from donations and that.
Sure.
I'm just kind of broke right now, so
yeah, no
I will eventually.
Gotcha.
No, you don't have to.
I like the roller coaster there.
Oh no, I want to.
Travis got excited that you might donate, and then you were like, "I'm kind of broke right now," and he was like, "All right." And then the hangout emote just got spammed in Twitch chat.
No, literally, I will once I get the money.
Dex Factor, you do not need to.
Stuff, but
it's fine.
Great comment. Nice to talk to you.
It's fine. I'm happy you're on the show. You don't ever need to support it. I'm just happy people are watching the content. What? And then the hang up emote shows up. Dex Factor, what do you want to talk about?
My favorite part of 2017 was the end of the season stuff, the whole trades, the whole movement of all the teams. Because after a really disappointing 2017 year for North America as a whole, MSI, Worlds, and all that, I think this sets up at least for a really, really interesting 2018. I know we're not talking about it, but I think it just really sets up the next year really, really well.
Yeah. So it's kind of like bringing hype for you to look forward to the next year, all the stuff that's kind of going on right now.
Yeah, for at least just NALCS.
Yeah.
NALCS, I think, is going to be really good. Worlds and MSI again.
Oh, I see what you're saying. For the regular season, this is getting...
Yeah, it's going to be really, really hype.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you have a favorite move in particular that happened?
I can't really say there's like a lot of like big moves for each team that I think have been really interesting, but like maybe the most interesting one probably is Sven and Mithy going over to TSM, because I thought they would be like completely loyal to EU, and I really do think it's a big pickup for TSM. Now, how they work that as a team, I think they're probably going to be top 4 at least, probably top 1 or 2, but like I see like the top 4 or 5 teams is really close, and the bottom 5 teams also being close. I don't think there's going to be a dog 2 or 3 teams like we've had in the past years. Team Liquid's not going to be 8th, 9th, 10th. They're probably going to be 4th. And sorry, I didn't get to go. I can't, looking at all the rosters, I just don't see anyone that would be just like, oh, well, they suck. They're going to be 10th. Woohoo. This is going to be so fun. Oh, yay. TSM, Cloud9, CLG, they're facing the 10th place team. That's a free win. I mean, because, like, Golden Guardians is questionable. Optic, kind of questionable. Clutch is kind of questionable. But I still see that there could be very, very big positives. It just, if they mesh and they gel well together, they could do really good. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is a pretty exciting time for sure.
My favorite part of the Sven and Mithy thing that you got out of the interview, Travis, was that they'd been planning to come to NA for a while. It was like they knew they were coming here. That was great. That was great to hear.
They just need to know one was like, it's like time in the stock market. They just got to come over at the right time.
Yeah.
Franchising's a great time. Did you see the picture that Sven tweeted today? With him and Santa? Travis, go on.
Oh yes, I did.
Show
I want a
Twitch
dragon
chat.
for Christmas. Yes, that was pretty good. Oh, you want me to show it on stream? Okay.
Well, I don't know if.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
We can all just reference it and laugh about it, and Twitch chat will have no fucking clue what we're talking about. Yeah. That sounds fun.
Here, it takes a second.
De facto, De facto, would you say that there was a move that you weren't happy with? Because for me, I think easily worst move that we saw start of the 2018 season technically has to be losing contracts for C9. That one's still a head scratcher to me.
For me, it's a C9 move. For me, it's Licorice. I love C9. C9's my team, and Licorice is good, and I think he can definitely be a starter, and that. But it's like the Svenskeren, I think, is kind of an even trade for contracts. But I mean, there could be negatives to it. But it could be the environment on TSM just didn't work that well. I don't know, but it's like you lose impact and you pick up Licorice. I mean, like if they like Hooney came back, Hooney's now on Echo Fox. Did you go for him? Flame was available. Did you go for him? Someday was available. Even Lorlo, he's just more proven than Licorice is, because like Loro sometimes literally went off on Team Liquid with all their struggles, and he had some really, really good plays and some really, really good games. Now he had some really bad ones too, but every player does. But it's just like there were so many top laners available, and it just felt like, okay, we got this, and oh no, they signed. And it's just like then they were just like, well, we're keeping Licorice, and it's like there probably was someone that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think.
Speaking of how this is a year in review show, the year Lorlo came to pass, huh?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Not to that level.
Hey, Dex Factor, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to hear your thoughts on your favorite time of the year.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Dude, that Sven tweet is...
Yeah. For those
that's 10
listening
out
to
of
the
10
audio
for sure.
version, there's a picture on Twitter that Sven posted of him with Santa. He says, "Me, I want a dragon." Santa replies, "Be realistic, son." He says, "Okay, I want to get out groups with TSM." Santa says, "What color dragon did you want again?" It's pretty good. Pretty good. Next up, we got Dr. Manhattan returning to the show. He's muted at the moment. Hopefully we can get him unmuted.
Well, yeah. I think he was just waiting for you to finish your recap.
Dr. Manhattan, where are you calling from?
I am calling from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and you've called previously, correct?
I have.
And you may or may not be a sub. I feel like you're a sub.
I am a sub.
Thank you so much for the support that you're showing.
Hey, I appreciate supporting the show, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe you can't keep track of the 15 different subs you have.
Yeah,
Travis.
well, there's a lot of them. Dr. Manhattan, what was your favorite moment of the year, the big story, whatever got you excited in 2017?
Well, before I get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to one of the biggest things that happened, and that's actually this show starting right now. This show has been such an exciting thing to watch. I remember when you guys
Travis
first
loves
announced
this.
it. Yeah, no, just like seriously, like there's really nothing like this as well, really in the league scene, and the fact that we all get to just enjoy this, whether it's awkward nerds or just that one TSM warrior, it's fantastic.
Thanks, dude. I'm glad you like it. I think Mark and I have both been, this was kind of a random idea we tried, and I think both he and I have been really pleasantly surprised by how well the community has enjoyed it and how well it's been received from people. Despite everyone spamming the hang up emote when you're sucking up to us. Dr. Man, what did you want to talk about though?
Probably, in my opinion, like my favorite moment of 2017 would be probably G2 at MSI this year, which I think people overlook a lot. And in general,
You're
I
calling
think
from
that
our nation's capital, and your favorite moment was whenever a European team did well at an international event.
I mean, they're in NA right now.
Spam that hang up. That's what Travis is saying.
Oh my god,
This guy's a plant.
Yeah, I mean, why? Okay, well, I'm happy to hear why, because the year before we saw CLG do well at MSI, so I feel like it wasn't that new of a story to see a Western team do well there.
Yeah, and it was actually really cool. But like, I think the one moment that I think that a lot of people, even like on Reddit, like kind of got hyped about is I think like during when they played TSM, that really one call that Expect made. To really like, I think they were all trying to back
trust me or whatever.
Yeah, we're like, yo, no, guys, we can do this. Like, believe me. And then like, all right, cool. And then really just like how pivotal that moment was, knowing how G2 was on the verge of elimination along with World Elite and TSM, and how that really was kind of the just pivot moment that really swung them into like positive momentum. They ended up 3-1 in World Elite and even taking a game off of SKT. And I thought that Perks gave probably one of his best performances we'd seen throughout the entire year in 2017. So I think that was a really awesome moment this year in competitive league.
Yeah, very, very cool. I mean, was it just sort of the whole team, like the performance of the team across the whole event that really stood out to you, or was it that specific moment?
At first it was kind of shaky, but really that specific moment, it's like that anime, like, you know, like thing you see in like those summer blockbusters, like the oh my god,
has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not a weeb, so I can't really relate to that, but yeah.
Well, it's like that moment you see in like most like blockbusters where it's just like, oh, and like it just pivots the entire like momentum for
like
the team.
The sort of climactic.
It's like when that. Oh god, I was about to spoil Star Wars a little bit.
No.
It was so tempting, dude.
Get you banned. Anyway, yeah, Dr. Manhattan, thank you for sharing that with us. I think it's nice of you to bring up something from MSI because MSI, I think, kind of flew under the radar this year.
Absolutely.
It's otherwise kind of, I feel like it was a little less memorable of an event compared to some of the other years or some of the other events. So I think it's nice to celebrate something from that event specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem.
Doing a quick shout out, by the way, since the show started, there's been a bunch of people that have supported us. Gloater subbed, Shadow Snipe 41, Coach Keefe, Shint Spam, Prince Wilhelm says, please don't starve, Travis, have my bits. Big Matt 217, hi Travis, here's $5 bills. And more to come. We've got Mount Izzle on the show. Where are you calling from, Mount Izzle?
Hey, Travis. I'm calling from Anaheim, California.
Okay. And so close to home.
Yep.
Yeah. What was a big moment for you in 2017?
Well, I'm going to start this off with a little meme. I was watching Base Una's stream, and Mark stepped in for him while he made a sandwich and challenged the chat to one-on-ones. And it was a random, so he got Janna and I got Talon and I beat him, and then everyone like started shitting on him. But I mean,
That was
I
you,
feel
dude?
bad for him. Yeah, that was me. I still have the
nice.
clip.
So was that your favorite moment of 2017 whenever you shit on Mark?
Well, I mean, that was the funnest thing, I think, for me personally. But like in terms of LCS and
No, that's fine. If you want to make that your
League.
esports highlight of the year, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, go back and dig up the vase so Travis can plant it in this video or something.
Oh, okay, I'll do that while I'm talking. But
no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But what was your LCS take?
I would have to say Core JJ finally getting a ring.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's deserved one ever since his dominant performance in North America. So
yeah,
I think it makes a lot of sense. Where have you been following his career for a long time?
Well, when he was on Dignitas, yeah, but aside from that, not really. So, I mean, I was just happy that he left Dig and got onto a good team, and then, you know, finally got a ring.
Yeah.
So, kind of down that line of logic, like, why is it in particular, like, you know, he played two splits in North America, and that's it, and then he was like in Korea before that, and in Korea after that. You know, why is it that just like that little bit of time gave you the connection with this random Korean guy?
I feel like he was underrated, if I'm being honest. Like people didn't really look at him. Like when people would mention names, it would always be like the Reckles, the Reckless, like just high tier 80 carries, and he wasn't really mentioned. So for him to have to go back to his region, switch positions, and then, you know, make it, stood out to me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, thanks so much for calling into the show. I definitely agree with you. It was a pretty cool thing to see, and as much as it hurts to have Faker, you know, crying after the final match, like it's kind of cool to see that Cinderella story. So
yeah, I mean, I felt bad about seeing him cry too, but I don't know. I'm just happy that Samsung won because I'm pretty sure a majority of people didn't want SKT skins again. So no offense to SKT, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. I would love to see what they do the fourth time around.
Yeah, they should just start picking the same champions so that there's no way for them to reiterate. Anyway, thanks so much for the call.
Real quick though,
Oh.
do you mind if I put the clip somewhere?
Sure.
Plug-
Yeah,
plug
just
in the clip?
throw it into chat or Discord. I probably won't be able to edit it in, but I'm sure for anyone who wants to see you
That would
beat-
take any level of effort on
Yeah.
Travis's point.
Yeah.
I put it in right there.
Thank you.
Do you want me to tag anyone or?
You can do whatever you want.
Oh,
I will
I
not
just,
be interacting
all
with
right.
that Twitch clip, Manisol. It's for you and anyone you want to share it with.
Yeah, I have Travis at gunpoint. I messaged him on Skype. I was like, Travis, you're not gonna fucking open that on stream. You got that?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My
Yeah,
bad.
Have,
All right then.
have a
Yeah.
good one.
All right, have a good one, guys.
See it.
Thanks.
As we're
It
getting
really
our-
speaks to the strength of the NA region that we can have somebody like Cord JJ come over here
Yeah.
and then go back to Korea and win a world championship.
as we're going back through as we're waiting for the next caller, Tasby has subbed, Amoxic has subbed, Gorilla956, and Deuce the King.
And
You
now
guys
you're
have a
joined
serious
by a
support.
sub.
And now we're joined by sub Con on the show. How you doing, Con?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Travis? And
Great.
in crowd.
Thanks. Yeah. Are you Quan? Is Con short
I am
for-
Conjo78 on
Okay.
Twitch.
Not the new TSM translator.
I'm
Who had been the TL support and other stuff.
Where are you calling from, Con?
I am calling from Idaho. I called a couple weeks
Oh
ago.
yes,
so-
and we made potato memes.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Can I just say how awesome Kelby is for wearing a Christmas sweater to the show and everything, and how he
Or
just
what are you
looks like
trying to
he's in
say
the
about
season.
marketing?
I don't-
Thank you. I try,
Oh.
man.
Yeah.
I'm putting effort in over here.
If I had a Christmas sweater, I would. I'm not gonna go buy one.
I think you're actually insulting me and Mark more than you're complimenting Kelby.
I'm not insulting you guys. I'm just recognizing, somebody for putting some extra
I have
effort. in.
Christmas
some
pants.
extra effort, unlike me and Mark.
I have PJ pants. Should I put them through my arms?
Yeah, are all
So-
people from Idaho
so
this
look-
presumptuous? Con, is
Oh
there?
no, I'm originally from the East Coast, so that's where I get.
Oh,
Oh,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
okay.
Yeah, that's very East Coast. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry you ended up in Idaho halfway. You were on your way over to the good side, and then you
You
crashed
got
into
shot
halfway.
down
you
on the
made
way.
it
dude.
almost all the way there, but
Yeah.
stopped
Work-
just a little short.
Work takes you where you have to work. So
Yeah. Con,
Hey,
what
I'm
did you-
retarded, and I'm about to prove that. What side of the Mississippi is Idaho on? It's the
it
east.
is definitely on the west side.
Wait,
side.
was that a serious question?
Was that-
Yeah.
All right, we're
Con-
gonna
Con, what
we're
did
gonna
you-
edit that VOD
As
for you,
far
Mark.
as far as I'm concerned, there's 10 states in the United States. All right.
Con, what did you want to talk about for 2017?
So-
What was a big moment for you?
2017, while I enjoyed Worlds and I really liked it, my overall take for 2017 is that having Worlds every year is actually bad for an NA and EU as a region.
Interesting. I think the most fascinating thing about this is that you've managed to work an opinion that is probably not relevant to the show's topic into the show anyway by saying this is
I
your
like
take
it.
on
Hey,
2017.
you know what, Travis?
I like it.
Because we were having a ball with all the other questions.
Con
right?
comes into the
Yeah.
show, he criticizes my apparel, and then starts a whole discussion around a topic
I
not
never
relevant.
criticized your apparel. I praised Kelby's.
Yeah.
So you think that we do Worlds every other year or something, or
I would actually, I'd say every other year might be better, and maybe you can, you can still have an international type big tournament every year. Maybe you can do a World Cup, kind of talk about All Stars. You can do a serious, maybe 2-month long actual World Cup with countries being represented for teams and stuff. I think the reason why Worlds can
All-Stars
be
2.0.
bad for those regions in particularly is obviously they don't succeed in it. Like everybody has kind of said, there's no expectations to do well. But that's not what these teams are promoting in a lot of their content. If you watch TSM Legends, if you listen to every time they talk about it, they're always talking about how they want to go far in Worlds and succeed.
yeah, they have hope.
Consistently, the first caller tonight saying it was a disappointing year because MSI sucked and Worlds sucked for us. So my favorite part of the year is roster changes. What is that saying about the whole year as a whole in terms of your region, LCS action?
I mean, I don't know, dude. This sounds to me like you want to stick your head in the sand and just no, we don't suck. Don't prove that to me once a year or twice a year, maybe with MSI.
I'm not saying I don't disagree. We don't suck. What I think I'm saying is you just had a whole bunch of people just invest a lot of money into an NALCS, and viewership did take a hit enough to where Riot had to switch it to best of ones, hoping that bolsters it back up. You have a lot of money being invested. Is you consistently having your region look bad going to help sustain your region as a whole?
Do you
the
think?
esports. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that viewership in NALCS has been dictated by regional performance at Worlds?
I think slightly it has.
Do you think that was a bigger portion of the potential dip, or was it the best of 3 dual stream not using the existing Twitch channels?
I think
I
think that hurt it a lot. I think Riot's whole scheduling thing is a bunch of they're not smart about how they schedule their leagues. I mean, they promote the NA and LCS as like one big thing, and they expect people to watch like 60 games in 4 days.
Yeah.
Like, no regional person's gonna watch that, even if you love League.
Well, I don't think that they expect people to watch that many games. I think it's just that sort of, not everybody. You don't watch everything that happens at the Olympics.
I agree.
I just think you'll have a hard time making this argument and having people buy into it, especially because we're coming from kind of an NA centric perspective. But do you think China wants to have Worlds every 2 years? Right, like they keep showing pretty good results there, if not first. Like there's a chance for them that at some point in time they could win the whole thing. What'd you say?
Well, so
I mean, I'll ask you guys. When was the last time a Korean team lost to a non-Korean team in a best of 5 at Worlds?
At Worlds, it was 2014.
And it was OMG beating Najin.
Yep.
Only time it ever happened before that was in season 2 of finals when Azubu Frost lost to Taipei Assassins. Other than that, every World since then, no LCK team has lost to a non-LCK team in the best of 5.
So yeah, I know that stuff pretty well. Thank you. The question is, I'm just being a dick for fun. But the question is, why would you possibly want to get rid of the most hype event of the year solely because your region doesn't do well, despite the fact that it is one of the key factors in investment? When you're saying that you're concerned about dipping viewership numbers in North America, how about the stats page that they come up with every year, where Worlds was played for 40 million people and 200 billion viewer hours and yada yada yada, like that? If your concern is viewership, this is one of the best tools for viewership, and you want to put it every 2 years?
It might be think of it. I guess here's my argument, especially for NA and EU. What good, if you're a fan of the region, what good is Worlds going to be for those stats if you're not able to sustain your own region as a whole with the viewership you get for your regional play?
I think your premise is that local viewership will decline as teams continue to perform poorly.
It has declined so far.
Well, yes, but I think it's correlation is not causation, right? Like you believe, like, we don't know what has happened with the player base in North America. We don't know.
Yeah, we do.
What effects?
Just look up the number of ranked players. It's gone down. North America is the only region that has the average ranked player base going down.
Yeah, but the Riot doesn't publish those numbers.
No, but they're public. You can look that up yourself.
It's using third-party.
Right.
Yeah.
But those are accurate.
And we don't know if that necessarily means that the player base has gone down. But it is.
Mark
is right in that there's
how dare I go to a public posts that are all over the internet that you can Google in 2 seconds? How dare I cite
those?
I'm
just saying the ranked players going down doesn't necessarily mean player base is going down. But it is probably a fair assessment, or it is.
I'm just saying that there's North American player base, the competitive North American player base is factually shrinking.
Sure.
And that has nothing to do with the esports component.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the esports and the actual game itself are totally separate.
Well, kind of. I'm just saying that, average player base matters for esports, but esports doesn't necessarily matter for the average player.
Yeah. I think that my only point is I don't know that there's any direct evidence that North America's poor performance at international events has led to a decrease in viewership. I think if you did some polling of fans, my guess beforehand would be that it was more the best of 3 change and also just a overall lack of interest in League of Legends because they may be playing it less that has led to a drop in viewership, not Worlds. So I do not think I think there are reasonable arguments to be made about how frequently we do international events that North America competes at if North America is never going to win because there's a morale hit that can take place there. But I don't think that you do it because you don't make that argument based off of concerns about NALCS viewership.
I agree. Like I said, it says a lot as a whole when people are more excited for the off season than it does the actual NALCS play.
I would also
what-
say that I don't think that's necessarily true. Like I think these are very exciting times, just like it's very exciting in the NBA offseason and
Yeah, I was
every
gonna use
sports
that example.
offseason are very exciting, but it's not like, oh man, ESPN's getting more viewers now than it did during the finals or whatever. Like there's not more news around it then. Like the pinnacle of your sports calendar year will always be the most important thing. And you can't just take away the climax of the year because it makes two regions feel bad.
Not to mention,
I
I think unlike traditional sports, there is a lot more fandom for other regions than the local regions. So I mean, I think fans like to see in North America Faker play on the final stage, right? Like there was no issue selling out Staples last year, despite the fact that it didn't feature a North American team.
Yeah. And EU LCS fans like to watch, or EU fans like to watch anything, as long as it's not EU LCS.
Also, Gino in chat mentioned something that we also kind of talked about, was that Riot stopped using their main Twitch channel, which I actually think was way more impactful than anyone ever has admitted. Like, they had, at the time, I think Syndicate somehow beat them, but they were like the first channel to 1 million, or second channel to 1 million, and they're one of the biggest Twitch channels around, and then they just stopped using it for their weekly broadcasts.
And I agree 100% with that. That was, again,
that's
their handling of the whole thing was just bad.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Con, we're going to move on to some more callers just so that we can get rotated enough people through, but thank you very much for calling in, and it's an interesting discussion that maybe deserves a stage on a different show.
Well, definitely. And you guys all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, have a good one. Keep
Thanks very
holding
much,
it down
dude.
in Idaho.
Yep.
All right, on to the next
Yeah,
call.
fun with that one, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I think
felt like you were falling asleep to some of these. Someone
No.
come in and be like, I like this, and you'd be like, yeah, that's great.
No. I think a lot of these are great. I think this one is harder because it's less of like a 2017 thing. Vacui has sub. Thank you, Vacui. Looking forward to... Oh, and Vacui is also, I think, in the queue right now to join the calls. So that'll be exciting to have
Pay to play.
he or she on. Yeah, exactly. It's all pay to play right here on Hotline League. First, we got Riku. Rico? How do you pronounce
Oh
it?
my god, kill me.
How do you
What's
pronounce
up?
It's supposed to be Ryko.
it?
I put the
Ryko.
H in thinking, oh, English, people will get it.
Ryko. Ryko, where
That,
are you
if
calling
anything,
from?
you should have said, oh, English. It
Yeah.
phonetically never makes sense.
Right.
Ryko, where are you calling from?
Good old Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Nice. Scotty boy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Jeez. Ryko, is there anything or what is it that you would like to talk about with 2017?
I guess my, part I like the most about 2017 and the years prior is that C9 actually does better than TSM every year, at least since I've been watching it. And
At Worlds,
no one ever
right?
talks about that. At Worlds, excuse me,
Yeah.
at Worlds. And no one talks about them ever. It's always the TSM story every year.
Yeah.
But no one talks about C9.
Well, maybe if C9 went to MSI or the finals for events, more people would talk about them.
The other thing that I would bring up as well is that this is actually something that we discussed on an earlier point in the show, and was my advocation for TSM potentially not switching rosters, is that regardless of whether or not C9 does better, the fact is they don't go deep enough for people to care. Who cares if you can make it to quarters? Ultimately, I don't think that NA fans or people really care unless you can go to semis or even go to finals. And understanding where NA is at as a region, that was my argument for potentially why it would be silly for TSM to go for better results. It'd be better to have more popularity.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was, when I said the thing in Discord, was I think that C9 needs to destroy everybody this year to get out of the TSM shadow, and they have to go deep, like you just said, into Worlds where people finally see them as the second, at least prior seasons, the second contender against TSM.
Yeah, the
Do you
struggle
think
for
they're gonna do that
C9.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we all talked about it. The struggle for C9 is that they are unable to ever build a narrative around themselves that leads people to believe that they're going to have success at Worlds. And maybe they're starting to build that narrative now because they continue to outperform TSM. But it's hard when they are like sneaking in to the third spot and like having to go through play-in. Yeah, sneaking. And having to go through play-in first in order to get to Worlds. Like, that's never going to inspire a ton of hype. Whereas if you have TSM just like decimating people for a split and then looking, maybe pretty good at finals, that's going to lead to more hype and more conversation around TSM. Also, they're TSM, right? Like, just naturally, CLG, when Kelby ran them, were probably one of the worst performing teams in the NALCS.
Whoa. They weren't that bad. I think you're forgetting some of the teams in there.
I mean, they had to face off against Azure Cats to keep their spot.
XDG.
Yeah. XDG went to Worlds.
That when they came back, season 4.
Do you remember? Actually, never mind. This is too much of a tangent. Sorry. Continue, Travis.
Yeah. Either way, so my point is, like, CLG were had like a ton of people talking about them in a world where the double lift being on the analyst desk was like a huge meme because he was just never making it there. So I think that's kind of the problem that C9 has faced, and we saw them face it again in 2017. So I'm curious to see if now your point of a big moment is C9 proving once again that for some reason they can outperform supposedly better NA talent at Worlds, and I think that's a really good point for this year. But we'll have to see if they're able to sort of start to cultivate, that narrative of performing well.
Well, I know we don't want to look too far forward in next year, but we've talked a lot about roster speculation in previous episodes, so I don't feel too bad. But do you feel like the roster moves this offseason are setting them up to finally overtake TSM in the narrative, or do you think they're going to get left behind again?
I think losing... I think I agree with the last guy that he said contracts and Ben were kind of like a equal trade, so to speak. I think contracts is pretty good, and I think he's just... I think you can grow with him more than you probably could with Sven. But I don't know what possessed him to get rid of Impact or what happened with that deal. But like, you have all of SKT saying, "Oh yeah, C9 has Impact. C9 has Impact." And take it for what it's worth. But if they're saying that world champions, I mean, he's probably worth keeping around. And I think that it's good. Yeah, I get that, right? The money.
Yeah, so you're on delay, so I'm going to do that for another 10 seconds, even though my hands are currently back down.
Good point. But I mean, like, now it's going to be a matter of, I guess, who overthrows TSM or EL or whoever. I guess I'm more interested to see who's going to actually create a fan base that's not just chanting TSM all the time, even when TSM's not playing the game. Like, what's going to take to create a fan base that's not just chanting TSM instead of chanting Liquid or whatever?
What's wrong with chanting TSM, dude? That's a historic esports tradition these days.
You need to have big personalities that put themselves out there, that broadcast, and also create a narrative around them, and hopefully have some results.
Yeah,
sounds easy, dude.
Raiko, thank you so much for the call.
We did it.
Excited about your C9. Looking at what happens with C9 next year for sure.
All right, yeah, thank you. Nice sweater, by the way, Kelby.
Oh,
thanks,
hey,
man.
Get out of here. He's gone.
It's not even red or green. Can we settle down on how great a sweater that is?
No problem.
I'm not like, geez, you guys are getting a little jealous over here.
Hey!
Yeah.
The sweater's shit.
Settle down.
Okay.
No one compliments me. They just tell me I look homeless.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do look homeless. Let's... That might be the story for 2017. Mark's consistent homelessness. Mechalara has subbed. Thank you, Mechalara. Looks like we're getting on recently subbed Vacui. Thank you, Vacui, for the sub. And where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Massachusetts.
Ooh, you're quiet. We're gonna turn you up a little bit. That's Mark's hometown state.
Where are you in Massachusetts?
You can tell you're very excited about that. Vacui, where are you in Massachusetts?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear us,
Hi.
Vacui?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when you talk.
Trying to catch where you're from in Massachusetts, because Mark is from there.
Western Mass.
Western Massachusetts. Okay.
Springfield?
A couple towns away.
Okay.
All right. I'll just pretend you're at the Six Flags.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Nice.
Okay, Vacui, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I got two topics that I'm very well versed in. We could talk about the memes of 2017, or if you want to talk about Team Liquid, because I've been following them
I mean,
pretty
what
closely.
sounds like you're talking about the same thing.
Oh well, one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you start off with the memes? Yeah, I'm excited to hear your
okay.
what was your favorite meme of 2017?
Well, I'm very partial to Mark's Silver Scrapes, but to spare him from the torture, I guess we'll glance
You're
over
sparing
that.
everybody. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Music to my ears.
Well, I really liked, since I was a Liquid fan, I like Vault Boy and how that kind of came and went in a week.
Do you think it went away? I feel like anytime somebody mentions Golden Boy, people
C9
still
literally
spam it.
just made an announcement video where he had a Vault Boy mask on as he pumped iron. I don't think it's gone away.
True.
Yeah.
It is true.
But it is. What is a fair point is that meme came out and then Golden Glue's season kind of ended, so maybe it was like the meme came just at the wrong time for Golden Glue.
Well, I see where you're coming from. To me, I just kind of don't like Golden Glue, so I kind of guess I pushed it out of the way a bit.
Oh,
how
damn.
do you-
Okay.
How do you not like Golden Glue?
So your favorite meme was that Golden Glue's
He's probably
Glue's
partial
meme was
to mid laners that
not
can actually
good.
perform on the big stage.
Yeah. All right. So you got anything else on the meme front, Vakui?
I really liked Sneaky's maid outfit and how that's gonna stick around for a little while.
Sneaky's maid outfit was pretty good. I'm excited about 2018's Sneaky outfits too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Optic's new meme heavy roster.
Yeah.
With Power Evil and Arrow. I feel like Arrow's an underrated memer. Have you ever seen his Twitter account?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's something else, I tell you.
Yeah.
I loved when he won the MVP and just like rubbed it in everyone's face. He was like, "How could he win?" He's just like, "Who gives a shit? I won. It's my award. Get out of my face."
Yeah. And I'm gonna quote this tweet so I don't get it wrong. November 28th. Hey, all caps, 2 exclamation marks. Raindrop, cooking, blah blah blah, pot pot pot.
I don't really follow that, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah.
It's Arrow.
All right, so you told us about your memes. How about Team Liquid?
Just how awful their 2017 was, and all their acquisitions and their drop players, and like, do you remember Link was on the team? No one really remembers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
No, he was splitting roster time with Golden Glue and Scrims, and then they just dropped him.
Just never, because Golden Glue, the scrim god.
Yeah, I had been looking forward to interviewing Link, and before he had even made his debut, he was gone. It was very sad.
Yeah, well,
But
he wasn't doing so hot in Scrims, from what I heard.
just how much Team Liquid changed rosters. It was none of their players got time to get comfortable with each other, and obviously the success never came to them. But I'm looking through the Leaguepedia and their 2017. It goes: Link joins, St. Vicious joined, Conquan joins, Youngbin rejoins, Golden Glue becomes inactive, Doublelive joins, Adrian joins, all in the span of like 3 months.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Actually, that would be a hilarious video, is just to kind of go through like the players and staff members of Team Liquid throughout this year. And finally, you didn't mention this in the meme section, but right now we've got the Paid by Steve meme, which I think is a pretty good meme.
Well, that even started with the Doublelift acquisition.
Yeah.
Like that's
I don't think that meme is not going anywhere. After this offseason, it's just getting stronger and stronger. I think the memes of LCS are definitely hitting a high point right now.
Yes, we're at an all-time high for memes. I agree, and these new teams are going to bring even better memes. So
yeah,
that's what you hope.
100 L's when 100 Thieves starts losing.
No, I
Bronze
can't wait.
Guardians whenever Golden Guardian starts losing. It's going to be great.
What about Clutch?
I don't know.
No. Okay, way to go, guys.
Thank you,
There we
Vakui,
go.
for calling in.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yeah, have a good one. All right, who we got next, Mark?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm excited.
What is the FlyQuest joke we can do?
I mean, I don't know.
It's so easy. Quest, there's got to be a million of them.
Fail quest? Buy quest?
Buy quest?
Yeah, like goodbye.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or maybe they get a bye, in one of the bracket stages. I don't. I got to give a shout out to K-Pop or Die, which I'm pretty sure is my photographer Jeremy. He wears crazy outfits. Thank you, K-Pop or Die, for the sub. We got Rocket Surgeon on the show. Rocket Surgeon, I like this a lot. Surgeon, rocket scientist. You've merged it.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from? Your microphone is a little rough.
Oh, is it? Here, is that better?
Yeah.
All right. Calling from North Carolina.
Okay.
Petey
I'm
Pablo.
here- What?
Don't worry about it. Where's
All right.
what's your 2017 highlight?
My 2017 highlight was the 5-minute level 6 on Nocturne. Levi's 5-minute level 6 on Nocturne against Fnatic this world.
Nice.
I gotta say that was probably in game one of the highlights of the entire year was just how fucking crazy that was.
Yeah, and no one was ready for it, and it was just boom.
Yeah.
Diving bot. Yeah.
And then everything that came from it too, just like how could we have known this was coming? This was impossible to know. Like, how could we have prepared for a 2v1? Like all this stuff, and it's like just everything that came from that game as well was amazing.
It really was. I thought it was probably one of the most exciting matches of the year as well, with the exciting 5-minute level 6, of course.
Yeah, Levi's been doing his campaign to come to North America. I'm very sad that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, well, I know that you were doing an interview with Travis where you were talking about if he was going to be okay with like an academy team.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a translation error. I'm not sure. I'm still unclear if coming out of that.
I'm unclear as well, so I was looking to ask you to see if you had maybe figured it out, but I guess not.
Yeah, I think
that video's already been monetized. It's already been viewed. There's no reason to do any more work on it.
Yeah. No, I mean the comments. I think there were some native speakers that were explaining that he misunderstood the question and that he was implying he didn't necessarily need to join like a TSM team or something. He was happy to join one of the newer teams. I think. I'm not sure. So.
All right.
Yeah. But it would be nice, and that is a pretty hype moment. I wish if this was a Yahoo show, we would be pulling this up right now. But
or if Travis just felt like using his fingers.
No, I don't. I can't find it. I think in time, and then I'd play it, and then there's a commercial.
Yeah, dude. Gam level 6 Nocturne would just not show anything for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, no, I think that's a pretty good point. And I really appreciate it. Rocket Surgeon. Anything else that you want to talk about from 2017? I don't want to kick you out of the call too quickly.
Probably just the whole Dardoch story and how CLG being my favorite team and just watching him kind of, like, I don't want to say, like, ruin the team's chances, because if there was going to be a team that could handle him, well, now he's on Echo Fox, but I was really hoping it was going to be CLG and turn him into what he could be. But he just, I don't know. And we ended up with Omar God, and just I like Omar God as a person. He just wasn't top tier, and it hurt us a lot.
Yeah. It was an interesting time, the Dardoch stuff.
Dardoch was apparently a lot of people's like focal point for the year, surprisingly.
There were so many good things that happened this year, like the Dardoch stuff, the TL stuff. I don't know. I feel like it. For a year that had decreased viewership, I feel like some of the stories were pretty insane from this year.
Well, if you don't remember, I would actually argue that spring 2020, this year, actually had the best split we've ever had. The amount of crazy-ass storylines, like, people don't remember, like, FlyQuest was the #1 team, and it was C9 blue and C9 white or whatever.
Yeah,
like there was so much crazy shit. Arrow was, like, stomping kids super hard. TSM was struggling with Turtle stepping in. Like, TL was falling apart. Like there were storylines everywhere. Keith couldn't stop dying. Like everything was so fucking great in spring.
Yeah, Keith.
We didn't think Team Liquid was gonna win a game.
Keith couldn't stop dying. That was one of the major storylines for you.
No, I'm just saying, like, that was like everyone was like, oh man, Echo Fox because Keith, and like I don't know, every team had like at least one huge thing going on.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I want to say is Star Guardian Urgot. That needs to happen.
Star Guardian Urdoch would be good.
Could be good.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Rocket Surgeon, for the call.
No problem. See you guys.
Thanks, man.
I just accidentally moved Mark into the other
What
channel.
the fuck?
I'm sorry, Mark.
Throw me out of here,
I threw
dude.
the wrong person.
We gotta change some admin privileges here.
Yeah, my
You just
bad.
tossed me, yeah?
I wanted Rocket Surgeon to stay on the show and you to leave. That was that was the new thing. Your face could have stayed on. The video could have stayed on for the show, but I needed his voice. I liked it a lot more.
Yeah, his voice. Speaking of, we also do, as you can tell by his call, and take calls from cans attached to strings. I have them set up.
No, I thought he was saying Star Guardian Urgot needs to happen because he was Urgot calling through the mask. You know. Like,
oh yeah.
Pain is real. All right. Next caller, Mark. Yeah. Let's see who we got. Spence42. Thank you for the sub. How are you doing, Kelby?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. That's good, Kelby.
Here you go, Travis. I heard how much you loved the last guy's microphone, so I got you another.
Louis9428. Where are you from, and what's your microphone sound like?
Hi, Travis. I'm from a very shitty country, which I don't want to mention. I'm not from the U.S.
Okay. You don't want to mention your country?
My microphone doesn't sound too well, does it?
No,
That's fine.
It's okay. We can understand you.
No, it's pretty shitty.
Okay, your country's shitty, so you're ashamed to mention the name of your country on the show. I've heard people that don't want to say, like, they're nervous about saying the city they're from. I don't know if we've ever had anybody not say the state, but you're literally like, I don't want to tell you anywhere about the country that I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, to tell you the truth, I'm from Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Okay, very cool.
I'm happy to have you on the show. I have not spent as much
man.
time in South America as I would like to, but I've met the Venezuelan people before. They're amazing. And you seem amazing too, and I'm excited to hear what you thought was amazing in 2017.
Do you know what was amazing?
What?
Well, a lot of you people in Twitch chat, in Reddit, you get sad when TSM loses, right?
Yeah.
Me? I get so creamed and so happy when those shitters lose.
Okay. So why do you
get so happy when TSM loses?
Yeah.
First off, I am a CLG, a C9, RNG, and KT fan. I love those teams.
Okay.
I love Afro. I love Sneaky. I love so many other players. When I saw Double F walk into Crown and just die, I laughed so hard because I knew they were going.
So what? But you've described why you're a fan of other teams. Is there a reason why you don't like TSM?
I hate how cocky Hanser is. I hate how overrated Bjergsen is. And even though I really like Doublelift and I more or less respect him, I've been so angry at him at how much he chokes internationally.
Okay. Well, you should be
Like,
happy
really
at how much he
tilting.
chokes internationally because you want TSM to fail.
Well, not anymore.
Well, I also hate Reginald.
Okay. Good subject change. Don't have to address
He
that
hates
one.
their social media guy, all right?
Yeah, that guy too. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you dislike about Reggie? You said that Hanser is too cocky and Bjerg is overrated, but what do you dislike about Reggie?
On the topic of Hanser,
Yeah.
I think that Hanser is not even a top 4 top laner. He's not even going to be top 5 this spring.
Okay.
Really?
Who
Who are the 4 top
who do you
laners
put ahead of him?
Number 1, Sunday. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 is going to be between Flame, Darshan, and Huni.
Okay.
And then it's going to be Hanser right there because Hanser is a solid tank player who does his job, but he has shitty weight management. He can play carries. In fact, Hanser is the very definition of the NAJs.
Okay.
The goddamn NAJs, which every region in the world makes a meme out of NA.
Okay. All right. Very good. So to reiterate, your 2017, the highlight of 2017 for you is watching TSM lose.
Yes. In fact, do you remember TSM at MSI?
Yes.
We got to see TSM lose to Levi. God damn it, that guy is amazing.
Yeah.
I love Levi. Don't you guys love Levi Twitch chat?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. It'll take a second for them to answer your question.
Luis, let me ask you this: so you obviously hate TSM, and it seems like it's all player related. Whereas I feel like a lot of the times that people hate TSM, it's due to the other fans or maybe like a single player. Do you hate TSM at all for any other reasons, or is it pretty much exclusively the players and staff?
I also hate their fans. I think their fans are artistic.
Oh God!
Don't get me
said
wrong.
artistic.
Yeah, artistic. They're very.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't
I
say
think you
that.
said artistic.
Yeah, you definitely.
Yes,
said that.
that's what I said.
Yes.
And he's a sciences guy.
Yeah.
The thing is, I met some really good TSM fans, some really good TSM fans, some really good talks, but most of them, like, they bring so many boneheaded opinions on social media and on Reddit. Like, people saying that Arrow didn't deserve to be MVP, that Honster shit on Sunday.
Yeah.
What the hell? Did you guys even watch the games?
So again, the topic of the show was what the big moments for you 2017. I'm concerned that the majority of your call is just coming into you listing all the reasons why you don't like TSM.
Well, I mean, he came in. He said his favorite moments was the fact that TSM failed twice internationally, and then we kind of got
They failed at MSI. They had a 10K goal lead against G2, and they could never close it.
Yeah, that is.
And
that
that
is a true
World,
story.
remember their loss to Flash Wolves? The Flash Wolves were so damn bad at Worlds that yet TSM managed to be worse in one game. They lost it, then they lost a tiebreak to Misfits. Oh, by the way, I like Misfits, but I think that people kind of overrate them a bit because I think it was more SKT being bad than them being really good. But on TSM, man, I'm still kind of angry at Double, but you know, I don't like him because he gives up so many choking memes now of an ADC just walking into a victor to die, of an ADC that does not flash at the right time. Thank you, Double Lift.
Yeah. All right, Luis. Thank you so much for the call.
And thank you so much, Double Lift, for making sure that TSM does not make it out of group.
Thank you so much, Luis, for your call onto the show. Definitely a different perspective, I think, than some of the other callers we have had a chance to talk to tonight, and it's nice to hear, the sort of reflective opinion you've been able to share with us about 2017.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks, man. I kind of I really can relate to that guy because if there's like a team that you hate and you just want to see them fail more than everything, then Worlds every year is somebody who's a TSM hater has just got to be the greatest event when they get the group of life.
Yeah.
And then they bomb out. That guy's just got to have the best. And there was pure joy coming. Yeah,
he was
as he described these things.
Yeah, he was just laughing.
He was so happy, genuinely happy.
Yeah.
Like me hearing Roses for the first time happy about TSM not making it out of groups.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I can understand not liking a team and enjoying when they fail, but to have that be your highlight of the esports years, or for at least League of Legends years, surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. So less than celebrating the victories, it's more about celebrating the failures for him. All right. So next call, who we got? Mark. Oh, he went off to go find somebody. We're gonna find out in just a moment. Next, I am the fourth Hokage.
Yeah. What's up, Travis?
What's your favorite jutsu?
It's my character's thing.
He throws the flash. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the teleportation thing.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool.
What anime world are you calling from? I am the fourth Hokage.
He's calling from the Leaf Village, Travis. Jesus Christ, you're embarrassing.
Okay, I don't know.
Where are you
calling
from? Village?
Where?
All right.
Where are you calling from? I am the fourth Hokage. What location are you calling from?
That took me like completely off guard. I'm calling from Dallas.
Okay, Dallas. Okay, and
Big
are
field
they
fan?
mostly accepting of your interests in Texas?
I'm sorry. I heard what Kelby said. I didn't hear what Travis said. To answer Kelby's thing, Overwatch League is like almost guaranteed to fail in my opinion.
Hey.
Okay. What
My
is your
boy.
yeah?
Just
Are they
kidding.
accepting of your anime interests in Texas?
I mean, I'm that like stereotypical like video game league player that barely leaves the house, so I don't even know.
Oh, good. Okay, that's a good way of dealing with it. What do you want to talk to us about tonight? I am the fourth Hokage. What was the big 2017 thing for you?
I really wanted to talk about Team Liquid, but I saw like Vakui like talked about that. So like my thing is like Rift Rivals.
Okay.
Like looking back on Rift Rivals, that tournament was actually a hot steaming pile of trash.
Okay.
Like
Jesus.
So
I mean,
it's worth noting that's the only great success North America had this year. So be careful before you flush that one out. You know.
I liked Rift Rivals.
I mean, so I thought the idea of Rift Rivals was good. It just like everything before screamed that it was just kind of thought up at the last minute. So I personally thought it was going to be bad, and it for the most part ended up being bad.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Like, what did you think made it feel like it was kind of thought up at the last minute?
Well, when it was announced, like only a month before the actual event was planned or something like that. I may be wrong on. I don't think though.
Okay.
I don't think I am. And then like I believe they ended up like changing up the format from the announcement anyways.
Yeah, so initially it was supposed to be almost like a crew battle kind of thing where like you put your worst teams in first and then like winner stays on the court kind of thing, which I actually thought was really cool before they just went to a more standard group stage.
Yeah, I really like that. Format wise, I think the format for the NAEU thing was actually pretty good. They basically had the world's group stage and then the best of 5 between the two best like records from the regions. The Asian one with the Chinese, Taiwan, and Korea was just really bad because it was all best of 1. Also, the results kind of like gave like a false impression that NA was actually good, which a lot of people that weren't like NA like biased thought was the case. Like,
well, I think that's interesting because I accepted the fact that at that point in time we were better than Europe, but I just didn't think that it would have any bearing on Worlds, which it didn't. But I think you can still relish that victory over Europe. It's not like it didn't happen. And if anything, we were on the lesser footing because we were the ones who had to travel over and that kind of stuff. So in that regard, I still think you have to give it like a little bit of validity.
Well, to kind of stroke the NA pride a little bit too, we sent at the time C9 was like 7th place and P1 was last. And
I was only like 4th or 5th, but yeah.
Yeah, C9 was middle of the pack. P1 was last place. And then EU actually sent over their three of their top 4 teams or something at that moment. UL ended up like falling out at the end of the season. But I mean, it felt good that we had a bottom tier team like run train on like the best out of
Mike Young, boy.
Yeah, so that
Mike Young
really
is probably
like
on TSM today because of Rift Rivals.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he like after Rift Rivals, he barely like did anything.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if you can really fault him considering the jungle meta was like tanks, and you can't really carry hard on tanks. So like P1 was trash. Besides Mike.
Yeah.
So, that's beside the point though.
So the most hype moment for you, or the big thing for you this year, was just sort of a disappointment in Rift Rivals.
Yeah, I just felt like it was poorly like executed. I like the idea. I just don't like how they did it. The main thing I don't like is the fact that they did it half a split after spring, but they still used like the spring standings. So you didn't you had like, say EU would have won that. The only team that from NA at that point that was looking strong was TSM, so it would have kind of almost been pointless. And then in like the LCK, MVP was like sent over, and that you just had a lot of. It didn't actually have the best teams from each regions at that point in time, in my opinion.
Right. Well, thanks so much for the call. I think your assessment of Rift Rivals, a lot of people were disappointed in that event. And then I think some people were happy about it, but it's hard to say if that was because NA did well or if it was because the event was well executed.
Yeah, and I still like the idea, and I hope they just like improve it next year.
Yeah. Well, thanks
and
so
also,
much. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'd also like to compliment Kelby on his sweater, mainly just to piss off.
Well, it was great having him on the show. I'm glad.
Yeah, sucks his internet cut out right then.
I'm glad that he was able to call in.
There's a lot of men of taste on this program.
Yeah.
Hey, when are we gonna get a woman on this program, guys?
I mean,
we have taken 0 female callers.
Well, on this episode,
gets in the way of my
sexist pigs.
It gets in the way of my sexist agenda.
On this episode, we did so, or we haven't, but on other episodes we have.
What have we?
Yeah, Skipper.
Oh, she's not an
your
esports
friend.
fan. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never met a Skipper before in my life.
Hey guys, Kelby's feeling really lonely. If you could reach out, even if she doesn't follow League, get one of them to call in, join this Discord.
I'm married.
That looks like it was. Is that? Excuse me,
podcast?
Kelby. Can you please put that closer to the webcam? It looks like permanent marker on your finger. Oh, I see. The ring suddenly showed up there. Interesting. That wasn't there before. All right, who do we got next, Mark? We got maybe 20 more minutes, I think.
All right, yeah, we'll get through these.
Yeah. Let's see if we got anybody else that subbed. Nobody yet, but I'm sure. Listen, if I could just say this really quickly, it's Christmas time, everybody. Everybody's looking for the hottest gifts. There's nothing like a sub to the SOTL Travis Twitch channel, which you can gift now to other people. You can bring happiness to and great stuff to their hearts. And now we got writing teacher on the show, who is a sub as well. Writing
I actually
teacher.
don't remember what he said.
What was
actually?
the big here?
I'm not a sub.
Oh,
I'm an actual teacher.
Oh well. Oh,
what do you teach?
That's great.
You know.
Was that an intentional pun?
Hey man, I have to drop the lines when I get them.
Okay,
that was
right.
so good. I'm so impressed.
Was
I'm surprised. I think Kelby didn't understand what happened because he's not. Normally he loves puns.
He looks stunned.
Kelby
on
is
camera.
super cool too, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you teach? Or is that the joke?
I thought it was in the name though. I teach writing.
Writing teacher.
Wait, I mean, like, do you teach like college or high school or like elementary
I
school?
teach the little ones, so it's a big deal.
Okay. Very good. Well, what was the big thing for you in 2017? Writing teacher.
Actually, there was like a few things. Like, I'm a Team Liquid fan because I guess I played StarCraft 2,
Okay.
and that was a big
Wait,
deal.
what
Like,
race do you
Team
play?
Liquid was a thing. I played Protoss, and well, actually, I was a big like Testy fan. He was like a huge player back when I was sort of watching replays. So he played random. I tried to play random for a bit, and it was like, nope, I'm not that good. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I kind of like grew up with the whole Team Liquid thing. And then when they got a league team, I was like super. That was kind of like when I started watching esports.
Nice.
So about the Liquid thing, I was super disappointed that like Mickey is nowhere to be found. He's MIA. And kind of just off of that, I guess to move forward and stop talking about Liquid, I think like NALCS teams need to really work on building players as brands more so than they need to work on themselves, because I think if we invest in players, each team will have like easy access to like an immediate fan base. So I just think there's like for instance, there's a lot of parallels with the traditional sports now. Like I'm a players guy. Like Derrick Rose was my guy, and now he's injured. He was in Chicago, his breakout year, and I just stick with players. I'm from Texas, and so San Antonio is it's like my team, but at the same time, I find myself watching other teams because of the players, and I think you need to see that a lot more. in NALCS.
Yeah, teams are nervous, I think, of building up players too much because if you build up the players and then you have an off season where you have to bring in, like we saw this with Sven and Mithy, right? Like the a lot of the fandom that was at TSM, despite being one of the few teams that has just a native fan base, was around Doublelift and sort of that roster they had before. So when they had to change out 60% of their roster, a lot of people were questioning whether or not they wanted to support TSM for this year. So I think that's kind of one of the issues that people have had.
But what is the alternative?
Building up, I mean, Optic and TSM, TSM generally speaking, have done good jobs of building up the fan base around their brands.
But do you think that those fan base around their brands were a product of the players that they had and what they contributed? Or because they were doing team stuff?
Possibly, but I think that they were able, like Greenwall, right, is a reference to the fan base of Optic. It's not the fan base necessarily of one of the teams.
What Nadeshot built. Like, Nadeshot built Greenwall with Hex. Like, that guy is so massively responsible for making Optic what it is today, in part.
That might be true, but the fan base stays with Optic and has traveled with...
You're right, which is why you don't need to be scared of losing these star players because you will naturally retain some of these players.
So do you think that it was fine for CLG
cool. Yeah, that's a good point.
to lose Doublelift to TSM and that wasn't a big brand hit for them?
So, no, it was a big brand hit. Just like as you're referencing, when Doublelift and Bio leave, you're going to have a net loss from your current point, but you will still have over the period of time gained more. Like, TSM is so large part due to Reggie and Dyrus and Odd One and Turtle and all these guys over the years having players that are big and stars and stream like Bjerg and what they've contributed. Like, if you look at the popularity of LCS teams within the franchise as they exist now, and you list them off from like top to bottom, the guys that are at the top will have had the most stars as part of their organization over the long term.
Mark, you're going to give me a...
And the ones at the bottom won't.
That was the winner. That was, like in the game show when you answer the right question and the lights go off because he's the winner.
Yeah, Mark, you're like totally going off right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you lose Doublelift, it's gonna suck. But over the course of time, you will have gained more fans than if you had just never had Doublelift or not invested in him while he's there.
Yeah,
right?
I just think that a lot of teams have focused solely on player brand building, and that I think it's a two-direction road where you have to build the brand and the players, right? Like, I think Noah tried to do this with Immortals, where he tried to sort of create like this idea of a philosophy behind the team and all that kind of stuff.
Peter Noah, by the way, and shout outs to your Gillette like content. That was super like awesome to see. And like,
look at you, Travis, killing it.
SOTL Travis YouTube.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
Thank you. You just made Kelby really happy because he manages the Gillette relationship for TSM.
What? Oh,
it was really cool, dude. It was I wish we had like the guys let loose a little bit more. I felt like you could like get like bits of their personality at times.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're like coached not to get too into it. Like, hey guys, we're still professionals,
Well, I think three of them are new to the team, right? So they're a little nervous. Mark, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah. Before we get with all the filleting, all right? The other thing that Kelvin needs to mention is that you have to win.
Nice
too,
word.
All right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the people who tried to build up brands, like I don't think Immortals did a great job with their players. Like, I saw Noah like way more than I saw his players.
True.
And this
Noah's notes? You don't love Noah's notes?
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying do both. And the other thing I'm saying is like C9 is another team if you want to point at that built off their players. It was Sneaky and Meteos and High and Lemon and Balls. All those people had such strong identities and were very vocal about who they were. And then when the team needed to move on, they moved on and they still have fans.
Mm-hmm.
And they won a lot when they played. And that's the most important thing. You win a lot and let your personality show. Those guys were not particularly like shy on, like you knew who they were when you watched them. And I feel like a lot of the time the two problems teams have is that, one, they don't win enough, and two, their players, when they get on camera, no offense to Mike Young, but they like a guy like him just states the facts, and he's very nice, and he has a clear head.
He'll
for the
get
game.
more confident. Bio was nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But I'm just saying, like, you need to have.
had Doublelift to build him, by the way. Like, it can't be understated how much I think Doublelift contributed to Bio's rise in popularity. That's why he's so valuable to an organization, not just for the personality that he brings, but how he can develop other personalities in your organization.
All right. We know that
It's
Doublelift is your best
true!
friend. Kelby, you're always so biased towards Doublelift, and all the content you create, you just talk about Doublelift all the time and how great he is. And you stop.
Hey
writing...
guys, this is a joke because Travis talks about Doublelift all the time.
I don't think Travis has ever done content with Doublelift.
Writing teacher, you got anything else for us?
Actually, I'm pretty good, but thank you all for getting me on here. It was pretty nice to see you all. Is this the last episode for real? Is that what's going on?
For this year.
Oh, okay. I feel you because it's like December. So yeah, take a good long break, dude. You've been doing super good. All of y'all are really cool to watch every time.
Thank you.
Y'all have content. I try to watch it.
Thanks, dude.
But yeah, I'm like a teacher, so it's like all on the weekends, right?
Yeah, no worries.
I'm lucky tonight.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thanks, man.
What a
That
great
was a
guy.
good topic.
Yeah. Very nice guy.
I like that one.
I'm completely on board with you, Mark. I think
Yeah,
that I've always said that like popularity is dictated by two paths. You have results and personality, and the only thing that scares me sometimes is like if you put all of your like it's really easy for teams to put all of their eggs in like investing into the results basket, but I think that's actually way harder to control than personality.
Yeah.
Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Hold on.
Also, I'm gonna clip this and send this to Peter Travis when you were saying that like you're talking about and I'm gonna clip it so that you're only saying negative things.
Peter said,
and it's gonna make you look like a piece of shit to Peter.
Peter said that he
And
was
you're gonna
going to
get cold
Korea
for
and he was
Christmas.
gonna miss.
Whoa, Christ, what'd I come back into? Mommy and Daddy?
Peter said he was going to Korea and he was going to miss bonding. I said, what about me? And he replied with a question mark. All right, so you can send as many negative things to Peter as you want. Shit Spam is here. Where are you calling from, Shit Spam?
The great state of Massachusetts.
Another Massachusetts. Wow.
Massachusetts
Where are you?
Callers in the house.
South Shore.
Okay.
It's 1 a.m.
What does
over
that
there.
mean, Mark? South Shore.
It's the South Shore of Boston. It's self-explanatory.
Boston.
I don't really.
I watched The Departed a couple.
South Shore of Boston.
Shit Spam. What do you want to talk to us about?
I want to talk about what is both my favorite and most disappointing part of this season, which was Delta Fox.
Delta Fox was your favorite and most disappointing. You were disappointed by Delta Fox. Please tell me what your expectations for Delta Fox were.
Well, I expected to be able to watch them.
That's actually fair.
Yeah. Because you were disappointed in not broadcasting all their games.
Yeah, I never had interest in the Challenger scene, considering how bad it really is. The only other time I'd watched it was when Rush played for Cloud9 Challenger for a little.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I was just disappointed I didn't really get to see how bad they would perform. I mean, yeah.
Did you think they were going to be bad? Or because there was two camps. There's people who was like, they'll do well, or like decent even, and then people who are like, they're going to get murdered. Which one were you in?
I think they had a chance, but I guess it really came down to practice.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that works. One group of people is scrimming and playing all day every day, and the other group is streaming solo queue. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What I did think it was good for was, I think it was good for Echo Fox, as great PR, getting such popular players, and also I think the person who benefited the most out of it was probably honestly Shifter. Like, I don't think he was very popular at all before it, and now you go into his stream, he has like 5,000 viewers or more.
Yeah, he went from like about 1 to 2K concurrents that I usually saw up to like 5 to 7 now. So he's
It's been interesting to see sort of the network effect of personalities in 2017. You saw that with Delta Fox a bit, where all those guys working together, they were able to, sum is greater than the whole of its parts. and the same thing with offline, I think, where you've seen a lot of the personalities associated with what Mark and Scar are doing really grow because they're sort of able to move their audiences against each other.
Okay, I didn't. Felt like for a second there was like a tongue-in-cheek thing coming.
No,
like,
I mean it was just.
I thought you were gonna be like, Delta Fox sucked. It so did offline.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go.
Both things Mark were involved in failed terribly this year. How much revenue was offline bringing in? I haven't seen too many sponsor activations around that.
Shin Spam. So, what'd you think about like the point that it kind of proved to some point, like to some extent, that Challenger is hard because you said you didn't care and they honestly suck, which I think is fine to have that opinion. But at least they kind of went in there and showed that if you took 5 solo queue heroes and put them all together, they would still get stomped out in Challenger. Did you at least appreciate that element?
Yeah, I mean, Challenger had Dandy in it, who's honestly I think still one of the best junglers of all time. Had Fly, who's now in the LCS on FlyQuest, and just a bunch of good players as a whole. So I don't really think that Challenger is that easy, considering I think some of the even the rookie talent Licorice, who's going on Cloud9 now, and I think Zazel was really good. I think as a whole Challenger is a lot harder than people would think it to be.
Hey, just out of curiosity, I went and looked at the top threads for League of Legends subreddit this year, and a couple of them are from April Fool's, so I don't count them. The next one is Riot Sanjuro talking about Tyler 1. The one after that is the Echo Fox Challenger team, Delta Fox, getting announced, the .esports article. So pretty good stuff. I'm sure that was half their traffic this year, .esports.
Damn, Travis.
So many. Well, I mean, that is a huge story.
Yeah, it had 30K upvotes or something?
36K.
Jesus Christ.
3,366 comments. So.
Kind of along the line of troll shit in the Challenger series, TCS is something I'm actually pretty happy about looking back at 2017.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that in the Twitch chat a second ago.
Yeah, that's totally not why I thought of it. I'm a very original person.
I'm sure.
But that's the kind of stuff I hope we see more of. I like when the community just decides to do fun shit by themselves. You don't need Riot, you don't need esports and the orgs. Just get a group of people together and have some fun. Yeah. I want to see more of that.
And that's why this show gets 445 viewers right now. It's just all about getting some people.
We're not having any fun. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's
because I'm really jealous of Kelby's sweater.
Yeah, that's true. Either way, thank you so much for calling in, Shin Spam. That's a fair. I think a lot of us had forgotten about Delta Fox. So, good stuff.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Have a good holiday.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
2 more people coming in, and then we'll probably wrap the show. How you doing, Kelby?
I'm doing great.
Just checking in with you again.
Yeah, I was like, is there something wrong with me?
Nemu Asian has subbed, so has Flurry and Liquid Crusher. So thank you so much to those new subs on the show. I think Liquid Crusher subbed previously. Spence42, where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from Camarillo, so if I bust out, it's because we just caught fire up here. So.
Wait, where is that?
Camarillo, California, about an hour north of you, just south of Ventura.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, wait. Did you just get? Is there some new fire?
No, St. Thomas is still.
It's still going. Yeah, I heard that they're evacuating people in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, Santa Barbara is having issues, but.
Yeah. Is it near you now, or are you mostly okay?
We're mostly fine. I'm a little south, so.
Yeah, that thing is crazy. It's been going on for so long now.
It's not. I was working the night it started and power went out. So.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Well, on a less shitty topic, what was big things for you in 2017?
I was a big fan of the international tournaments this year, actually. I think it's kind of really easy to hate on some of them because NA did poorly. But I thought there were a lot of really good underdog stories. Show me more Gigabyte Marines. It was kind of great.
Yeah, Gigabyte Marines was a pretty good... I mean, you could make that its own 2017 thing. I think in the past we'd seen kind of some breakout wildcard teams, but... I mean, not that that's a term they use anymore. I know it's 2017. You can't
emerging regions,
emerging developing regions. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a big reason I enjoyed kind of All Stars again too, is seeing Levi come out and show up, especially against Mike Young in a few games. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's been. Everybody wants to call on this show and shit on Mike Young. Everybody figures out. The sad thing is he's the nicest, calmest, chillest dude, just really respectful.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to piss all over this guy. All right, so you enjoyed the international events. Was there one that stood out in your mind?
I actually thought Worlds was really good this year, both kind of with Gigabyte Marines already having a set slot, and then seeing the upset of Samsung Galaxy into SKT. Because at the beginning of the tournament, everyone it seemed like was sleeping on, all right, it's going to be Longzhu or SKT this year, and then Samsung just kind of showed up, and Misfits as well, putting down in a group where kind of they were not expected to do anything.
Yeah. You were able to watch Worlds?
Yeah, I saw pretty much all of it. So
damn, where did you watch VODs or did you watch it live?
I watched a good amount of it live. I was in the UK at the time, so time difference wasn't that bad.
Because I just thought that for Worlds or for NA fans, yeah, if you were in the UK, that's good. But I figured most NA fans this year was probably not as great for them for the international events because maybe people weren't as interested in MSI. TSM didn't do so well there. Rift Rivals was, some people apparently didn't even like the event, and then Worlds was almost unwatchable for this time zone. So,
I think if there were games you wanted to see, it was certainly easier for me because I was able to catch a lot of it live. So you pick up stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise seen.
Yeah.
I think I watched every TSM series live.
Yeah. Well, hey.
I think it wasn't that bad to watch live because some of them were bad where it would start at like 2 or 3, but it also started at midnight a couple times. So yeah, I understand for some people that's bad, but
yeah, the babies.
Well, you got anything else for us, Spence 42?
I just want to say I'm really glad that the caller before said that he was kind of down on Delta Fox for the year, and I just want to call it now that Team Liquid is Delta Fox 2.0.
Okay, that is.
They were good in 2015, and
you have a team of people that were at Worlds essentially this year, and then you have a team of people who were.
Travis is insulted that you dare suggest double lift.
You've got
like cutie
no,
pie.
Kelby's the double lift guy.
You've got Impact that was maybe in the top 5 most of last year. You've got Pobelter who looked maybe top 4 and now is going to be worse with Power of Evil and Febiven in the league. You've got Doublelift who, if anything, proved that he gives the same value as Wild Turtle with his domestic superiority and international failure.
I love the spice at the end here.
I don't think it's going to be quite the roster people think it's going to be. But I am excited to watch Clutch show up this year.
Just like you said, Skara, I'm a Cutie Pie, Shifter, Voyboy, Dyrus, people playing on roles they don't normally play, exactly the same as Team Liquid with 5 World Championship players,
So the big thing about franchising was everyone was looking forward to, hey, this is an opportunity to build talent. Team Liquid showed they don't want to do any of that. They're going to buy declining talent while other teams look to the future.
You say that. I'm just like, I'm not even arguing with you. I think that's a fair statement, but it's interesting because Team Liquid's getting a ton of praise for this. Meanwhile, Golden Guardians, who are potentially going with the most, like, we're going to build talent, they're just getting kind of flamed by the community, right?
Well, I think there's the whole we're trying to win versus we're trying to say, like, because you could argue that Golden Guardians, they're investing in NA talent, but that's also synonymous with saving money.
It is. I'm big on Clutch this year. I think they have I think the Hakuho Apollo bot lane looks good. I think Lyra coming to the U.S. or not Golden Guardians, Clutch, yeah. Lyra coming to the U.S. last season showed up big. And what I saw from Team Envy, the little they put out, it was players saying, hey, Lyra did a good job talking to us and kind of explaining the game to us. So I think that is a team that is going to show up big and break that top 3.
You are betting on Envy, who did not have that great of results this year, versus a merger of TSM and Team Liquid and Immortals and Cloud9.
So to be fair to Spence, they had Seraph and Ninja for half the year. So throw that right out. And then the second half of the year, they finished in the playoffs and they got destroyed by CLG a little bit. But I think I'll give Spence this. The Delta Fox comparison's crazy, but his other takes I think could be like kind of the dark horse takes of the year, where Clutch City
Yes.
Games trends all right, TL's overrated, and I don't know.
Yeah, I
Guardian.
do like I do think it's like the Delta Fox thing. I think threw me off a little bit, but I do think it's fair to question whether or not Team Liquid can pull it together just because they are super team kind of deal. You know.
It's more like I don't even. All right, the Delta Fox thing was to come in with a hot take. I don't think Team Liquid looks kind of as bad as I let on, but I think I think CLG and Cloud9 are getting a lot of benefit of. We've been in the league for a while. You're familiar with Jensen and Sneaky, therefore we are good and we're in the top 3. And I don't think that's going to be the case with either CLG or C9 this year.
It's very good. Well, thanks so much, Spence, for calling in. Good to talk to you, and keep holding it down up north. I hope everything calms down up there soon.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good evening, guys.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks, man. Wait, does he think that CLG, C9, and TL are all not going to be top 3?
He said that they were all overrated.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Who replaces those 3?
The hottest take. Clutch,
100T.
Yeah. And
maybe someday.
Well, no, he said 3 of the what are the big 4? I don't know, whatever. We got one last caller.
We might not.
Okay, he's not been responding.
Working. Yeah.
So maybe we need one more caller, so hopefully we can get somebody. Baylor UK has subbed,
maybe we can get a female for the first time on this program.
Mad Fishy. Thank you, Mad Fishy. Bachetto on the call. Where are you calling from, Bachetto?
It's pronounced Bacchetto. It's Italian, so just a heads up there.
Bacchetto.
I'm not calling from Italy. I'm calling from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Well,
nice.
Very similar.
Do they have good Italian
Canadian.
food there?
Yeah.
No, I mean the stuff in my house is pretty good, but
Okay.
I wouldn't say there's notable Italian food here.
You could open a restaurant. That sounds like a business opportunity.
That sounds like a really sound business plan, actually.
And then take
I'm
all the
actually
money that you make and invest it in Bitcoin. And
I'll
and
just
then you
drop out
can
of
buy
college real
Saskatchewan,
quick
Canada in a year.
and start an Italian restaurant.
Why don't you just only accept deals in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
You'll be the first Bitcoin exclusive restaurant.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd literally make zero money that way. No one knows what a Bitcoin is.
Yeah, but you'd make Bitcoin.
It's a blockchain. It's a.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you got for us? What hot takes do you have from the cold north of Saskatchewan, Canada?
Yes, I wanted to talk about one of the things I noticed about 2017 was kind of this hype around sub rosters and having and implementing subs into like a rotation. We saw like the Ray Impact, Sword and Shield implemented with Cloud9, and a bunch of other teams kind of picked up extra players that they thought they'd sub in between series, like for best of 3s. But it doesn't seem like besides Ray and Impact, they got really much attention at all, or they're gonna really be a thing moving forward. Because every team needs academy rosters, some people are saying like, oh, you might be able to move them in between, but because we're going back to best of 1s, I would be really surprised to see if we really have any dynamics like that again.
It sucks that you weren't here for last week's episode with Azael, because he is maybe the most sub-hating rioter on the broadcast. He thinks that they're like basically glorified tryouts. Well, I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but I'm going to put words in his mouth. So, he thinks that they're glorified tryouts to eventually bench players.
Yeah, I mean, we saw like Echo Fox did a few things where they
Dignitas did the same thing with Adrian and Alltech. They brought them in as subs, and
like
they had the jobs.
They do like these introduction videos, like, oh, we're bringing in like a sub roster, but it's actually just we're bringing in your replacement, but we want to see if they're good before we actually kick you.
That is a very good point. I mean, I think, yeah, there was so much hype, and this is maybe a story no one has really talked about yet. Bachetto. But because I think a lot of people were hype at the beginning of this year about best of 3s and oh, you're going to be able to build out these much larger rosters because you'll be able to sub in a player because there's a chance that maybe you can just win in the third game if you need to, and we're going to grow the talent pool. We're going to do all this big stuff, and that never ended up happening.
Yeah, like a lot of times we saw they just start with their sub, and then as soon as they lost, they just, all right, bring in, like, that's kind of what I feel like I think it was the spring spring split, Cloud9 would just start Ray. He'd lose, and then they'd bring in Impact for like the security, and something I think a lot of fans are really confused about, like as Cloud9 fans, is like, why is Ray even getting time? But I mean, we did see him being effective by the end of that split, right? And try and get some bans for kind of like carry top champions, and that seemed to be working for them. But now that we're going to like best of one throughout the regular season, I don't think you're going to see anything like that.
I think
Plus, that Ray Impact duo has been broken up.
I think the idea of subs as like legitimate strategy things has always been like questionable at best about how effective that would be. Just because it's better to have a single player who can play two styles, so you can't just get banned out when you sub one. And like, other than SKT with like Faker and Easy Hoon, which is what people love to point to, it's not really a successful strategy, generally speaking.
I think it was just that Easy Hoon was really good.
Well, yeah, and then like they had Bangi.
Like, the sub worked.
Like SKT has done it enough that people are like, we want to copy that, but I don't think it's ever been like shown to actually.
Yeah, maybe the
strategy.
exception that proves the rule kind of deal.
How many best of ones are teams gonna play per week now in LCS?
It's gonna be back to the old, so 2.
You play Saturday, you play Sunday. Everybody plays both days.
I was gonna say like, and they're not doing super weeks.
Nope.
Thank God.
Everyone hates super weeks.
Super weeks are the fucking worst. I was gonna say maybe there's a potential of like, I don't know, some cheese that you can pull out with a sub for best of one if you're trying to surprise somebody, but
I think that's
2 best of ones a week, probably not.
It's possible, but I do think the idea of subs as a competitive strategy is not good, but I do think subs are still useful in that you have another basically position coach on your staff. And like they should be scrimming on their own in the academy team. They should be in house and they should be talking all the time and stuff like that. And I think there's still value for them in that regard. But yeah, I don't either like the idea of like, Ray and Impact, Sword and Shield.
Yeah. On the other hand, then, do you think that these academy rosters are going to be important to how a team kind of designs its?
I don't have very much faith. I think that the academy thing was something that Riot threw in because they felt like they needed something to replace Challenger. And my feeling is that everyone was too bit distracted with franchising and everything going on there. And so the whole Challenger amateur scene is pretty much fucked for 2018 because there's been no effort put into developing that from Riot or from the owners or anyone. And I'm happy to be proven wrong whenever more details are unveiled, but I just have no hope for the Challenger amateur scene with the academy teams and stuff in 2018. I think the most we'll see is teams will maybe, like I've thought, I would argue like Levi coming over and hanging out on an academy team while they teach them English. It's more just kind of like a holding station for players, but that's not really, you want that to be like a true development system, and I don't think that's what it's going to be.
I think you'll see at least a couple cases of players moving from an academy team to a starting position over the course of the year.
Yeah.
You'll see a couple, but I don't think it'll be the kind of thing where it's like a systemic, like academy teams are great and that's why it's happening, so much as like the main roster is failing a little bit and we need to, bench somebody or whatever it is. That's like a problem. Like you'll see them used, but I don't think you'll see it as like academy teams are justifying their own worth any more than like just having random subs did already.
Yeah.
I think that there's got to be something said for having a highly skilled group of players that are in a potential incubator for you where you can have things that are hidden from other people as well. Like,
I mean, that was kind of
the Echo Fox.
Yeah, I was just about to say Echo Fox kind of tried that.
Yeah, and then it lasted 5 seconds, I think.
Oh, man, I still believe
we're only subbing or we're only playing against our challenger team, which was
no, you don't only scrim against them, but for a best of one format, like there's got to be some I'm biased because I come from an era, you may recall, of Season 2 Worlds Doc X, where you can have strats that live in the incubator and they're fucking god tier, all right? They were so good.
Kelby.
All right.
You probably think I'm about to argue against you, but I actually agree.
Yes.
You don't need to develop a whole second play style. You don't.
No, for
you
sure.
don't need a sub top laner to come in the middle of a series and play half the games as a carry player. But I do think, and they call them in football misdirection plays. I think everyone should have a bag of tricks.
Yeah.
And you don't need to show them that much during the regular season, but they're things that you see and you try them out. And Gigabyte Marines is a great example of a team who probably goes too far into the bag of tricks. But I would love to see people have that change up. And it feels like people don't want to admit that they're the underdogs, and they don't want to play substandard. And it's like a pride thing where it's like, no, we play the game and we're better than you. We're going to beat you standard.
It seems like the only time we see stuff like that actually pop up is around Worlds. Like every year in Worlds, there's always like one team that'll pull out something kind of wacky from their like month or so of scrims. Like we saw kind of Caitlyn show up out of nowhere this year, as well as like Cloud9 had Singed randomly picked and Forrest.
Yeah, I think saw a little more of it this year with some of the like individual picks, but you can go crazier if you want. Like you can do some banana stuff in the game, and I think Gigabyte Marines prove that.
Yeah, I think, and if you can actually make that kind of viable, that's obviously going to improve like the viewership of the games, because everyone loves when pro teams pull out something wacky.
Yep.
Hey, Bachetto, thank you so much for calling in to the show.
Bachetto.
Yeah.
Really
you gotta say it right, guys.
Keep holding it down in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
And have a good New Year.
Yeah, have a happy Christmas and good 2018.
Have a good Boxing Day, dude.
Thanks, dude.
So that's the show. We'll go around and do shout outs, anything that you guys want to plug. Kelby, you got something for us?
Yeah. I'd like to say thank you to the Chainsmokers for all the music that they produced from 2014 right up until their full-length album release. That shit was insane. You guys are awesome.
Are you still blocked by them on Twitter?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that they go back and they look through their list of like blocked guys and are like, did we make a mistake here? You know,
Let's
no
give them a second chance. Kelby's not up for parole with the.
You got a big dick 'em, Kelby. You got to be like, well, I was gonna have you guys come out and play at TwitchCon next year, but
I don't know if that's.
I don't think that the Chainsmokers are like hard up. For
I don't know if you big dick them on
Kelby,
on
you still
TwitchCon.
Gotta
try. Mark, you got anything you want to plug?
No, I want the season to start. I'm going to Israel on the 22nd for 7 days, and I just hope I don't die. And I'll come home.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be fine.
For everyone else, we do film this live. It goes on Twitch. SOTL Travis is the Twitch channel for those that ask later on. And we try to do it Mondays at 8 p.m. We won't be doing one next week because obviously it's Christmas. And then we might not do one the following Monday because of New Year's, but we'll try to do one that week, I'm sure, because there's we'll want to talk about. I'm sure something will happen in the next couple of weeks for us to go over. And obviously we can take a look at what 2018 has in store. We're also on the iTunes and Google Store for podcasts. Would love to have you subscribe there. Leave a review, a rating. That helps us out a lot as people try to find the audio version of the show. And then obviously the VOD goes up over on the Travis Gafford YouTube channel, so you can check that out there. It is Christmas time. If you or your loved ones are interested in supporting the show, you can gift them a sub straight to this channel. There's also Patreon. And, there's some amazing stuff happening over on MeUndies, by the way, which you can check out with MeUndies.com/Travis Gafford. It's a great time to get a gift for a loved one. What's better a gift than comfort, Who knows?
I tried to get my family subs to SOTL Travis, and they uninvited me from Israel.
Well, hey, you didn't want to go in the first place, so this was it's a win for everyone, I think. Either way, thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate all the support. 2017's been a good year. I didn't talk too much about it, but it was a rough having Yahoo Esports go away right as I feel like we were doing quite well. That was a big thing for me this year. Maybe the biggest.
Best thing to happen in 2017.
But all the support that the community showed me really has allowed me to sort of recommit to staying in content and on the independent side. And we'll see if I can keep doing that in 2018. I think the jury's still out, but I'd like to. So thanks everyone for the support. Thanks for watching the show. And we'll see you in the new year.